Two of the most well-known performers of their day, Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, had a love story that will never be forgotten. Although Bogart was married when he first met Bacall, who was 19 years old, in 1943, the two quickly developed a relationship that involved meeting up in secret during Bogart's divorce. In 3 films from 1943 to 1948, Bacall and Bogart acted together, the first and most famous of which was To Have and to Have Not. The two persevered, even though Bacall nearly lost her studio contract when the film's director learned of their liaison. In 1945, they got married in Ohio on a friend's property. In 1949, Bogart and Bacall welcomed their son Stephen into the world, and in 1952, their daughter Leslie was born. After receiving treatment and support from Bacall, Bogart passed away in January 1957, having been diagnosed with cancer in 1956. Here is a timeline of Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall's relationship, from their first encounter and movie shoot to their eventual separation a little over 10 years later. When Bacall first met Bogart, she was 19 years old. When the two were paired together in To Have and to Have Not, the seasoned actor was over 2 decades older than his youthful co-star, but it didn't stop them from becoming friends. As he awaited his divorce, Bogart started meeting Bacall in secret, despite the fact that he was still married to the actress Mayo Method. Afterwards, Bacall said that during their initial meeting, there was no clap of thunder, no lightning bolt. She subsequently acknowledged that she didn't like Bogart at first. Because she was inexperienced, Bacall also acknowledged that she felt uneasy near Bogart on sight. She stated, "I realized that one way to hold my trembling head still was to keep it down, chin low, almost to my chest, and eyes up at Bogart," in reference to her experience recording their first scene together. It was successful. Although Bacall and Bogart did not click right away, they did end up together during the filming of 1944's To Have and to Have Not. It was later revealed by Bacall that 3 weeks into the film's production, Bogart gave her his first kiss. She said this in her 1978 autobiography, Lauren Bacall, "By myself, he was standing behind me, we were joking as usual, when suddenly he leaned over, put his hand under my chin, and kissed me." It was also Bacall's first time on the silver screen. Her character asks Bogart's, "You know how to whistle, don't you, Steve?" in a sequence that stands out. "You simply blow while pressing your lips together." In a subsequent interview with People, Steve Bogart, the couple's son, said everyone could see their love right there on celluloid. She was his, and he was the greatest love of her life. Bogart started an affair with his considerably younger co-star despite the fact that he was married to Method when he first met Bacall. He and Bacall moved rapidly because his marriage was already in disarray at the time. The Guardian reported that Bogart and Method, who were referred to as the battling Bogarts by many, kept a carpenter on hand to fix things around their house following their infamous altercations. In an attempt to appease Method, he and Bacall saw each other and spoke on the phone covertly. In 1997, Bacall told Parade that her mother had first been upset about the relationship. She claimed that after providing Bogart with her phone information, "I would occasionally receive calls at 3 in the morning. 'Where do you suppose you're going so early in the morning?' my mother would ask. 'That man is married,' I said." She was enraged. Not just Bacall's mother felt negatively about the actress and Bogart's connection. Years later, according to The Hollywood Reporter, Bacall said that Howard Hawks, who helmed the two in To Have and to Have Not, threatened to sell her contract to a Poverty Row company upon learning of the romance. "Hawks had quite a crush on me, but of course he was tangling with the wrong people because there was no way he was going to get anywhere, with Bogey and me involved," Bacall later said, according to The Hollywood Reporter. "His goal was to become my Svengali." When asked about Hawks' response to her relationship with Bogart, Bacall remarked, "He finally forgave me, but he couldn't handle it." Not long after the actor's divorce from Method was confirmed, in May 1945, Bacall and Bogart tied the knot on a friend's property in southern Ohio. Parade was informed by Bacall of a crucial provision associated with marrying Bogart. "I agreed to put my career second when I married Bogey because he wouldn't marry me otherwise," she remarked. After 3 unsuccessful marriages to actresses, he had no intention of getting married to another one. If your career is your top priority, I will do everything in my power to support you and will see you through to the end, but I will not get married to you, he stated. I know it doesn't work because I've been through it, he was correct. A year after their marriage, Bacall and Bogart made a comeback to the big screen together with the 1946 release of The Big Sleep. The two also got back together with Howard Hawks, their director from To Have and to Have Not, for the film, which is an adaptation of the same titled novel by Raymond Chandler. A year later, the married pair reunited on screen as co-stars in the thriller Dark Passage, directed by Delmer Daves. In 1948, Key Largo, Bacall and Bogart's last joint film performance, was released. In January 1949, Bacall and Bogart welcomed their son Stephen Humphrey Bogart into the world. Stephen was born while Bacall was 24 years old, and Humphrey Bogart was 46 when he became a father for the first time. Leslie Bogart was born in August 1952, marking Bacall and Bogart's second parenthood. Bacall subsequently said about the time after the birth of her two children, "Whenever I think of the word happy now, I think of then." Bogart was tragically diagnosed with esophageal cancer in late 1956. For the next few months, Bacall did everything in her power to take care of Bogart. Bogart passed away in January 1957 from cancer. The New York Times reported that the actor passed away while he was at his Holmby Hills home, while he was sleeping. His passing deeply saddened Bacall, who subsequently commented, "No one has ever written a romance better than we lived." In 2005, she continued to tell The Guardian that she and Bogart had never discussed his passing. "You play that game when someone who is really sick chooses to treat it like a minor virus," she stated. "I believe that when you create a huge deal, you are doing it for yourself, not the sick person." In her 1978 biography Lauren Bacall, By Myself, Bacall discussed her marriage to Bogart, more than 20 years after his passing. The next year, she also acknowledged to People that her husband would not have approved of the women's liberation movement. "Bogey was an old-fashioned man," she continued. "He made a half-hearted joke about how a woman belonged in the house. He was certain that a career and marriage weren't compatible because he had divorced 3 actresses." Stephen gave a brief interview to People in 1996 regarding his parents' relationship. "It was evident in To Have and to Have Not, as he phrased it, that his parents were unique. Everyone could see their love on celluloid right there," he remarked. She was his, and he was the greatest love of her life. Although marrying Bogart meant sacrificing her own career, Bacall told The Guardian in April 2005 that she didn't regret her decision. She stated, "If I'd had just my career, I would have missed out on Bogey, on children, on the very substance of life." In a February 2011 Vanity Fair interview, Bacall expressed her gratitude for being married to Bogart in the first place. "I have considered myself fortunate quite a bit," she remarked. "Being married to Bogey meant that I knew everyone, and having a 25-year age difference was the best thing that could have happened to me." At her New York City home, Bacall passed away in August 2014, 3 years later. Her age was 99.